everybody, how's it going today? Glowplasma231 here, back in today to talk about tying off Amagami Sister, chapter number 188. This chapter is titled, Tying the Skies Together, Night. And man, what a weirdly beautiful and wild chapter that we have this week, especially considering the last chapter we had, of course, chapter number 187, where like, hey, I guess we're just going to go and like just hop straight into what happened last time. It was like, hey, Uryu is there in this like ethereal realm with all of the girls. I think Yahe calls that realm something at some point very much later in this video. Actually, let me go find it real quick. What does she call this thing? She calls it the... I don't... I found it. Uryu calls it the Crossroads. So, whatever it is, the ethereal realm, that's what I'm going to continue to call it. How about this? The ethereal realm Crossroads. That way I call it what I want, and Marcy Naito's whatever they plan to call it is still here in the moment, right? It was a whole beautiful chapter last time about Uryu going through and pretty much telling all the girls, hey, this is how I made this realm, and like, hey, this whole idea of Chekhov's cord, this cord that their mother, of course, Chiharu gave them whenever they were young, were brought together all for the specific purpose of being able to make all of these girls happy, and of course, in that respect, Uryu as well. And it was just a really beautiful chapter, one that I nearly cried on with all of the just like good moments. Like, what can I say? It was just a good all time, you know what I'm saying? And the very end of the chapter was this, I keep saying it, really good moment where pretty much there's the whole wedding vow speech of like, hey, do you guys want to live happily ever after? Share one another's joy and sorrows, all of that very stuff, and everybody just said like, hey, I do. And it was just this really beautiful thing of all of the chords being tied together, connecting all four of these characters' fates in all of the various worlds. And I legitimately did not know where we were going to be going after that chapter. Like, oh, is it going to be like how Uryu's going to be going through and going to all of these branch worlds and doing all of this stuff? No, we just hop straight into the whole idea of Uryu's in Yahe's world currently, and that's what's sort of happening there, right? As honestly, it's a shocking start to the chapter, as we just see the cord like running in the top of the screen, like, okay, I guess this is happening, right? As we see that Yahe is just sitting down, looking and reading a book on marriage, pretty much, right? And we see that she's looking at, like, of course, the traditional kimono for the Shinto Miko, pretty much, or a Western-style church dress, or a Western-style wedding dress as well, right? As we just see, she's like, oh, since we're Miko, a traditional wedding in a shrine and a kimono would be nice, but also a Western-style wedding in a church might be nice as well, right? As I immediately knew that this was something much different and crazy whenever I opened up the chapter, and Yahe just looks like so much older, right? Like, she just is laying down on her beanbag chair reading the book, but like, the way she's just drawn, like, you can tell Marcy Naito had this design planned out for a while. Like, her hair is all very much shorter than it normally is, and it looks very, very nice, all things considered, right? But we see that she's just reading this thing pretty much. She's like, oh, like, I really wonder what type of wedding Uryu would really like, right? And that's where we get our chapter title, is Tying the Skies Together, Night. Which, hey, it's a pretty good chapter title for what we get here in the moment, right? But either way, we cut over to the Kyoto University Hospital, as we see there's a young boy standing here, and he's just like, and pretty much this little boy's mom is just like, hey, thank you very much, doctor. Like, thanks to you, he's being released from the hospital today, right? And she's like, all right, son, go ahead and say thank you to the doctor, right? As we see this little boy's just like, oh, yeah, thank you, Dr. Amagami. I'll see you later, right? And Uryu's like, all right, take care. Then pretty much high fives the little boy. As we see, this is the Kyoto University Hospital medical intern, Uryu Amagami. He changed his name. He's no longer Kamihate. Oh no, what are we going to do, right? Actually, let me quickly go to the Amagami sister wiki real quick. What does Uryu Kamihate mean? I actually have no idea in the slightest what... I know what, like, Kami, of course, is God. Uryu Kamihate... Where is, like, the breakdown of what his name means? It should be somewhere on the page. Yes, etymology. The name Uryu means melon, life living, and Kamihate means kami, god, high up, and hate. Oh, so what you're telling me is Kamihate means god hate. That's actually very on the nose for what Uryu's character is. I didn't even realize that. I was going to make the joke that that's what it was, but I didn't actually realize. That's actually pretty funny, right? But now I guess he's Melon Life Sweet God now, so he's no longer Melon Life God Hate. But hey, that's pretty neat, right? It's actually really funny. That's what Uryu's name is meant this entire time. I actually love that. That's so fun, right? But either way, we then see that one of the other doctors here just says, like, all right, come on, intern, it's time to go grab the chart for our next patient, right? And Uryu's like, all right, doctor, yes, right away, right? And he starts to follow this doctor. It looks like this doctor's Uzuki to me. Just the way, like, their hair is sprouting out from behind their back, now it sort of looks like Uzuki's character design. Granted, I don't think we've gotten, like, any clarification on what's going on with her or Miharu or any of the... Oh gosh, do I still have the wiki open? It's probably a good thing because I don't have my reference card on me right now. So what are all these characters' names? Mahiru, and then who are our supporting characters for Shrine Piece? Yeah, Uzuki. Yeah, Inugami. I'm guessing this is her, but I'm not like 100% sure. But like, I am fairly sure, all things considered, right? Yeah, it's almost got to be. I don't see why it wouldn't, right? But either way, like her face is obscured. That's why we have no idea, right? But as Uryu is pretty much following who I presume to be Uzuki, we see that two of the other nurses in the background are just like, hey, like, Dr. Amagami is really something else, isn't he, right? And they're like, hey, he's passionate, and he's handsome, too. I mean, the patients all, like, love him, right? And they're like, hey, maybe we should go and invite him out to lunch sometime, right? And the lady's like, hey, no way. There's a rumor he's already married, so we can't necessarily do that, right? And one of the nurses just like damn, well, I guess there goes that fantasy pretty much, right? As, of course, Uryu hears all of this, and he just thinks, like, yeah, like, actually, though, I'm not married. But, as he pretty much see that at the end of the day, he goes up to where his locker is, pretty much opens it up, and we see that sitting in his locker is a premium reservation, it's a premium restaurant dinner ticket. It's a reservation for a very fancy restaurant in the area. As we see that pretty much, Uryu also has a ring box here in his locker as well, right? As Uryu just thinks like, hey, I've got everything ready to propose, right? As we see, he's sitting at his desk doing all of his various medical stuff, right? As all of a sudden, his phone pretty much rings and blurts up pretty much. He gets a text message. That's what happens, right? His phone vibrates. That's the correct wording for that, right? As we just see that Yuna sent a picture to the group chat, and it's of her and Asahi in United States of America. And she's like, hey, I arrived safe to America and just met up there with Asahi, right? As Asahi just says, like, hey, the two of us are going to have the time of our lives out here, so you guys better stop holding back and do the same there at home, right? As Ryu's just like, oh, Yuna, Asahi, like, thank you so very much, right? As we get a little bit of narration from Uryu explaining, like, hey, in this world, Yahei and I are destined to marry, right? As you see that one day, Uryu gets back home to the shrine and just says, like, hey, Yahei, can we talk? It's pretty important, right? But as he sort of, like, enters the door and walks in, we see some paint flies up from the table where Yahei is working and splashes on Uryu's cheek as he's just like, oh, God, what's going on here, right? As we see that Yahei is sitting here, and there are 3 kids all around here, and she's like, oh, hey, Uryu, welcome home, right? And these 3 kids are just calling Uryu like, oh, it's the hubby's in the house, right? Okay, then whatever, right? They're like, hey, Yahei, since you look, like, does this look good down here? Like, does it right? She's like, I don't know, I think mine looks a little bit better than that, right? Or, I'm sorry, that's what another one of the kids said. And what makes sense for Yahei to be like, yeah, the professional artist looks better than whatever a 3-year-old's painting, pretty much, right? And Uryu's just like, damn it, like, what a way to kill the mood, pretty much, right? As we see, this is the Amagami Shrine painting classes currently going on here, so hey, that's pretty cool. I guess it's a little way to supplement a little bit of income from the shrine, or maybe it's just like a free event that they host or something like that. I don't think I'm really in the world to be, like, judging how the Amagami Shrine is currently making its money, and if they're exploiting Yahei's abilities to get money out of children's parents or something like that, right? But pretty much we see this is what's been happening here. And as time goes on, oh, hey, the light goes down the sky. It turns to dark. Gosh, why can I not create coherent sentences? I'm just like, oh, yes, the light goes down in the sky. Yes, the sun goes down. It's now nighttime, right? But we see as this is happening, it looks like Yahei has gotten a shower. And Uryu is pretty much standing behind her, blow-drying off her hair, right? As Uryu just says, like, come on now, Yahei. Like, that painting class was more like a painting daycare around here, right? And Yahei admits to just saying, like, hey, you might actually be right. But either way, it was a lot of fun, right? And Uryu's just like, hey, you're the free spirit as ever, pretty much, right? And he's like, hey, not only are your painting pieces still, like, not only are you still painting masterpieces, golly, I cannot talk, what's wrong with me, right? But he's just like, hey, we still find time to balance the books to do the posters for the Winter Festival. I'm glad to know someone as talented as you, Yahei, right? She's like, oh, do you really think so? But she's like, hey, either way, the only reason I can show my talents in so many fields like I do is because somebody set me free from my cage. And I owe it all to him. As Uryu just cracks a really nice smile at this, of course, like, hey, we know the story of this series. It was Uryu who helped her break out of that cage whenever she was younger, and of course, all of that other various stuff, right? But as Uryu gets done and sets the blow dryer down, he then pulls up something and hands it right next to Yahei and just is like, hey, Yahei, tomorrow evening, why don't we have dinner at this hotel restaurant, right? As we see, he holds over, like, the reservation ticket coupon thing, and she's like, oh, Uryu, right? And just takes a really good look at it, right? As we then cut to the next night, where we see that Uryu and Yahei are having a little bit of a text conversation, and Uryu's like, hey, sorry, I'm leaving the hospital now. If I can hurry, I can make it just in time, pretty much, right? And Yahei's like, hey, I hope work went well for you. I'll be at the hospital waiting for you inside the restaurant, pretty much, right? I don't think I said that sentence right. Whatever, I don't care at this point, right? But we see it's a really, really fancy restaurant, and of course it's not outside. All of the lights are reflecting off the water features around and just lighting up the night sky along with all the stars, pretty much, right? But as we get into the restaurant, we just look around and see, like, this place is a fancy place, right? And Uryu's like, damn it, like, I've never been in a hotel this fancy, pretty much, right? And he's like, damn it, like, did I reach too high, maybe? Like, I really hope my nice outfit, like, meets the dress code here, right? As we see that he's pretty much, like, in some nice khaki pants. He's got, like, a nice card shirt on, along with a soup jacket over top of it, right? And he's, like, looking around. And eventually, as he's looking around, there's a voice that goes, like, hey, Uryu-kun, over here, right? As we see, it's none other than Yahei who is sitting down, and she is in a fabulous dress sitting down here, right? And she's got all of her hair made up and everything, and Uryu looks over and is immediately enamored, pretty much, right? And she's like, hey, over here, Uryu. Well, Uryu goes and sits down, and we see that their meal just sort of goes off without a hitch, pretty much. They're sitting down eating, and eventually gets to the point of conversation like, man, this food is just so good, isn't it, right? And Uryu's like, yeah, it definitely is. As Uryu's just sitting here looking at Yahei, thinking like, damn, like, just yesterday she was causing so much chaos with all those little kids, like, as she was almost one herself. But right now, I can't really see her as anything other than the pinnacle of maturity and sophistication, right? As Uryu's just like, God damn it, like, Uryu, stop this, like, quit daydreaming, don't get carried away by Yahei's beauty in this high-class atmosphere, right? He's like, hey, I've got a show, I'm cool under pressure, right? Which, Uryu, at this point, the two of you have been through so much, I don't think Yahei's going to be thinking less of you because you can't keep your cool in this very fancy restaurant with all of the things in your life going on, right? I don't think that's necessarily happening. But either way, she's just like, hey, thank you, Uryu, like, I'm so happy to be able to do this. And as Yahei says this, we see that Uryu starts to daydream a little bit more, and he's just thinking, like, damn it, like, of course, I just want tonight to live in our memories forever. He's just like, hey, marry me, Yahei, and just, like, he's thinking about all these various things, and Uryu just thinks, like, hey, with this atmosphere we've got in right now, like, I'm sure my plan will go off without a hitch, right? Before he could really capitalize on this moment, we see that Yahei just is like, oh, hey, Uryu, I'm honestly surprised that you invited me to a place that's displaying my art. And Uryu's like, what? Right? As we see the Yahei points over, and of course, very conveniently, they're sitting right next to the painting. She says like, oh yeah, that over there. You know that solo art exhibition I put on the other day? Well, the owner of this hotel is actually there, and they were really, really nice, and they fell in love with this piece of my work, and he really begged me to let him display it in his restaurant, pretty much, right? And she's like, hey, I was actually planning to invite you here to surprise you with that little bit of a fact, but I actually never imagined that you'd invite me out here first, though, right? And I love how Uryu just has, like, his mouth agape, like, yeah, I definitely knew that, right? And Yahei's just like, hey, it honestly looks like you were the one to surprise me this time. Like, you really got me, right? As Uryu just, like, holds up his glass, and the two of them clink their glasses together, and Uryu's like, hey, like, that's awesome, Yahei, like, I'm so proud of you, right? And he's like, hey, congrats, right? And she's like, hey, thank you very much, right? And Uryu just thinks to himself, like, damn it, like, it ended up being a different kind of celebration, but we still had a nice time. As you see that later on, they've left the restaurant and are sitting on the riverbank looking down at the canals and the streets of Tokyo. Or not Tokyo, Kyoto. Tokyo, Kyoto, they sound pretty much the same, right? They both end with a kyo. One has a to in the front and one has a ko in the front, right? Kyoto. But either way, there's just this whole thing of like, Yahe being like, hey, thanks, Uryu. That was, like, a lot of fun, right? And Uryu's like, hey, no problem at all, right? And Uryu just thinks to himself, like, hey, because of all the weirdness that happened inside there, like, I could never find the right time, and we left with the ring still in my pocket, right? But Yahe just is like, hey, but Uryu, don't you remember what you said at the crossroads? I was right. Yahe did bring it up. I don't know why I thought it was her, and I just couldn't find wherever she said it, right? Either way, it doesn't matter now, right? But either way, she just says, like, hey, you said you'd make all of us happy in each of our worlds. And ever since then, I've had the opportunity to do so many things, and you've been by my side each and every day. I'm honestly deliriously happy right now, Uryu. And he's just like, Yahe. As he reaches into his pocket and just says, like, hey, you actually stole the words right out of my mouth. As he pulls open a ring box, opens it up, and presents it over to Yahe and just says, like, hey, I was actually supposed to give this back to you at the restaurant, but I honestly got too nervous. I'm really sorry about that, but my life with you is just always interesting, and nothing makes me happier than being with you, like the starry heaven above. You show new sides of yourself every single day, and shine brilliantly each time. And that's the Yahe I fell in love with. Yahe, will you marry me? As he just presents the ring again here in this moment, and Yahe looks over, like, face a little bit agape here in the moment, and I love how we go from this beautiful 2-page spread where this happens, to all of a sudden she being like, I thought we were already married, weren't we, right? And Uryu's just like, hey, I can explain, like, we aren't legally married, so to speak, like, at least we still have to fill out all of the paperwork and all of that stuff, like, I guess what you could call what happened at the crossroads, like, a very elaborate proposal to the three of you, but now I'm just sort of doing it to you, right? And Yahe just thinks, like, hey, right, I'm sorry. I guess I sort of just, like, jumped to all of the conclusions there. But, yeah, I guess you're right. Geez, like, you really got me this time. Like, I'm so embarrassed. As I don't know what this moment is supposed to mean here. But we see that Yahe has a ring box as well. I'm not so sure if this was a ring that she bought for Uryu to give to him, or if she just, like, picked the ring up that Uryu is holding here in the moment. I legitimately can't tell because we don't ever see if she reaches down and grabs it from Uryu or what really happens, right? But either way, she sort of just holds it up to her face and just says, like, hey, this whole time I've been daydreaming all by myself about what kind of wedding I'd like to have, right? And Uryu's like, man, like, sounds like you were really just going ahead and jumping to all of those conclusions, right? And she's like, hey, so, like, actually, what type of wedding would you like? Like, let's collaborate and do it together, right? And we just see the Yahe saying, like, hey, I think, like, a ceremony at a shrine would be nice, but also, like, a Western-style wedding would also be pretty neat, too. Like, Uryu, like, which one would you prefer? And we end off the chapter just seeing the two of them sitting on the bank, and Uryu's like, oh, well, I think that I'd like... And we don't see what Uryu says to finish off the chapter, as we just end it on this moment of the two of them sitting on the bank, being nice and happy together. And yeah, it's just a nice and happy chapter all around the edges pretty much, right? I honestly wasn't expecting to be just hopping into the main story of like, hey, that all happened now, and now we're pretty much going with all of our... I'm willing to quote-unquote say your roots with all of the girls, but I know that's like not the most accurate thing ever, but alas, sort of is what it is there, right? But the whole neat little thing of just, like, seeing all of it happen, I love seeing, like, the older Uryu design along with the older Yahe design, and I just love seeing the two of them going out, having the food, of course, like, the random stuff of Yahe being like, yeah, I'm a good artist, like, my art's actually hanging up over there, and Uryu like, damn, that's pretty neat, right? It's just really cool, and eventually Uryu presenting the ring, and, like I said, the one weird part about this chapter is Yahe holding up the ring that Uryu had just got her, or like, I don't necessarily understand the entire moment there. Hopefully, whenever the anime gets here, and knowing how the anime did the first season, like it covered like 80-something chapters in 24 episodes, I presume it's going to be like 3 seasons to adapt the entire series, but, well, they can skip most of the second Asahi arc, so maybe you could finish it all up in 2, you know what I'm saying? But either way, maybe it's something I'll understand here in like 5 years whenever we get that anime adaptation. But either way, just a really nice chapter. I love how it starts off with Yahei's whole thing of like, hey man, I wonder what type of wedding I'd like. And it ends off on that same note. Just a nice chapter that came full circle, especially all together. I've never minded Yahei. I always thought she was my second favorite out of all of them. And yeah, I just don't hate it whatsoever. And I take it we're going to be probably finishing off Yahei's thing next time if not getting another chapter of it. And then go to see what Yuna's up to, right? And see what's going on in her world where her and Uryu are doing things probably more focused on the shrine and maybe Ashi's after she's come back from America. Like, a lot of really cool stuff here to do. And of course, at this point, there are, 7 chapters left of this series? There's 189, 190, 91, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, 6 chapters left of the series. And I'm recording this video before that final chapter has come out. If it sort of happens to the point where this video comes after that point, just know that I've recorded this before that happened, right? But either way, just a really good chapter of this series, and I definitely enjoyed it. And if you guys enjoyed this video, well, luckily for you guys, I've covered tying off an Amagami sister a few other times on this YouTube channel. I started covering it at chapter number 176, so if you want to hear any of my thoughts on any of the chapters in between 176 and 188, and eventually the last 6 chapters of the series, there'll be a post link down in the description box of this video, along on the end card of this video as well. And if you did enjoy it, well, very luckily for you guys, there is a, oh gosh, what is that thing called? Yes, my YouTube channel. Go subscribe to it. That'd be very nice and cool, and let me know, like, hey, you guys enjoy these videos, and you wish I would have gotten them out sooner when chapters actually came out, but I'm sorry, I can't make that work sometimes. But either way, I'll catch you guys next time for tying off an Amagami sister chapter number 189. Until then, I'll catch you guys next time. This will be Glowplasma, signing out. Good Yahei chapter. Good old Yahei chapter.